So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. Okay, Rockstar Nation, we have a great guest today coming out Frederick, Maryland area. I got Josh Gossard on the line, and man, I like this guy because first of all, he was recommended by a couple of agents I know, and always like having people on the show that are kicking butt at a young age and early in their career. And Josh has proved this to be the case, and there's so much to be learned from these people that are just taking names and just jumping in with both feet. And I want to find out like how he's doing it, how he's being recognized as he is, and all the details so we can all learn from him. So without further ado, welcome Josh to Real Estate Rockstars.
Thanks for having me, Pat. Appreciate being here.
Hey, buddy, why don't you give everybody a little rundown on yourself so they could get to know you better?
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
How far back? Well, I don't know. After you got out of high school, what'd you do?
Well, so right out of high school, I joined the workforce, did not go to school. I started out in warehouses. I was blown away by the number of people that considered those warehouse jobs to be careers. People that were in, these $14, $15 an hour jobs for, 10, 15, 20 years, even some of those folks, and they were really considering that to be a career. And I was just there, I'm 21, 22 years old thinking there's no way I'm going to be in a place like this for this long. I didn't really see school as an option for me because I needed money right away. So there I was stuck in the rat race, I guess, stuck in that dead end job. Luckily, the place I was working for at the time cut our hours way back. So my sister-in-law was she was a staffing agent at a temp service. I went to her. She's like, I just got this awesome job for this defense contractor. She got me in there. It was another warehouse job, but there I saw some opportunity to deploy overseas as a civilian contractor in Afghanistan. So I made a good name for myself with my work ethic there, got to know some of the higher ups at the company, and ended up deploying back and forth to Afghanistan for 90-day rotations. So I would leave for 90 days, come home for 90 days, and I did that from 2009 to 2014. So I did that for
5 years. You were 90 days on, 90 days off.
Yep. So I made very, very good money. The time off was great because my time off was actually off. I was literally only working 6 months out of the year.
Wow.
I'm married with young children also. So as you can imagine, that started to take its toll on my family over the course of 5 years, of course. So I'm sitting there on a plane getting ready to leave, headed back to Afghanistan. This would have been August of 2014. My oldest daughter makes a Facebook post, and my real estate agent, the woman that helped us buy our house in 2012, just commented on my post like, hey, you need to get home. So I reached out to her like, look, I'm trying. Can't find anything that I don't expect to make this kind of money, but I can't find anything to pay the bills. I do have responsibility. She said, you should give real estate a try. And just like that, I was like, okay. Get to Afghanistan 2 weeks later. I enrolled for my courses online. My father passed away 2 months into that 3-month rotation. So I came home a month early to deal with that. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going back. The universe has a funny way of smacking us around sometimes. And I took that as a clear indication that, my time is limited. I need to be home with my wife and kids. Rest is history.
And that was that. And then you jumped right into real estate and here you are today. So like, what are you doing now? Last 12 months, how many houses did you sell?
48.
48. And you're doing this all by yourself, right?
Well, I do have an assistant. We don't have any sales agents. Just hired my assistant full-time. Started in October.
All right. So pretty much, most of those 48 you did by yourself. I mean, with the help, you just now got some office staff help. What was your, what would you say, as we say on the show, Josh, ECI, ego commission income?
What exactly do you mean by ECI?
Well, what was your gross commission of the last 12 months?
Okay, so ECI was, let's see, I wrote it down here in preparation for the call. Where is it at? So 301 and some change. So it's just short of $302,000.
All right, cool. And what did you net on that after you paid your broker and you paid, some things out,
After all expenses, after I paid the broker, before taxes, it's 57% is what I netted, and that's 171,649.
Sweet. And what did you make going to Afghanistan 6 months out of the year?
It would range. It would depend. Every now and then the contract would change hands, but it was 120 to 140 on average is what we were pulling there. And it's funny because I remember, as I was leaving there towards the end, a couple times the contract had changed hands, and I specifically remember one of the older guys saying, it's downhill from here. And at this time, I was only 24 years old. I'm sorry.
What did he mean by that?
The income we were making. Because he was just basically saying we would never make that kind of income again. And I've always had this optimistic look, like there's no way it's downhill from here. I have too much life left. I don't know what it is, but there's no way it's downhill from here for me.
Okay. And so that's awesome. That's a good story, right? And now you're back. Your wife and family are happy as hell, right? You're not traveling, and you got a real job, a respectable job. Not that wasn't respectable, but it's kind of, not normal. So anyway, so what did you do, right? What did you do? You got off you put your dad to rest. I mean, first day on the job, what'd you do to jump right in with both feet?
So I started to call expired and withdrawn listings right away. Here at our brokerage, that's something that they really preach to us as an easy way to get started. You can
expireds and withdrawns. Okay.
You can get the information relatively cheap. And I've also learned recently that it's absolutely free to go door knock on these expired and withdrawn lists. And, sometimes that's what you got to do. So yeah, that's what I did. I just started calling.
Okay, so first of all, where do you get the info for the expireds and withdrawns? And I love people that are, say what their success is, and it's basically I did what I was told, because all new agents are probably told expireds and withdrawns, and probably most of them don't actually do it. So tell me about that. So where'd you get them? What'd you use? How'd you do it? Blah, blah, blah.
So initially, I got my information through Arch Agent and Land Voice. At Keller Williams, we have a training program called Bold. When you go through Bold, they give you a free subscription during the time you're there. So I started there. Turns out I didn't really care for the user interface. I played with a couple of different services. What I'm using right now, what I've been using the longest, what I'm most comfortable with is RedX. So I get the data from RedX, import that into the Mojo dialer, which is a triple line dialer, and I've found that that's been the best system for me.
Okay, cool. Okay, so RedX works great, and RedX merged with the Mojo dialer. How many expireds are you finding in your market? And I'm just going on the assumption that in the last 3 years, not much has changed numerically. But has it? Are you finding more expireds now or less?
So actually, only being in the business for 3 years, I can only go by what people are telling me. And people have been saying it's a great market. Obviously, I've done well. I know a lot of other folks have done well. So this year we saw in the areas I work, it was a strong seller's market. So there were actually a lot less expireds than what there has been, in my first and second year. And another thing that I found this year, which was a little bit scary, was the answer ratios. The answer ratios really dropped off earlier in the year. Somewhere around March, April, I was finding less and less people were starting to answer the phone. So like I had mentioned, going and door knocking, there was a couple of houses, I wouldn't door knock every withdrawn and expired like I would if I was going to call, but if there was a nice place, something I was really interested in picking up, or if it was on my way, in my route, I would just stop by and introduce myself.
Okay. So, so like how many? Like, how many are you calling every day? Yeah.
Good question. Somewhere around 100 or so is what I'm calling.
100. Now, are there 100 to call? Is there 100 coming out every day?
No, absolutely not. So, of course, with January 1st, we got the most. That's the biggest expired listing day of the year. But so on average, I might see anywhere between 3, maybe 10, 15 at the most, maybe.
A day.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
A day. Yeah, I don't see.
And like, how far are you willing to drive? How far are you looking for these?
So I'm looking at about a 30-minute radius of where we're at. I'll go about 30 minutes. I've found anything more than 45, it's not that it's not worth my time. I can't properly service that client the way that I would like.
Yeah. So you're selling 4 houses a month, pretty much all expireds. Number one, listings, which is the name of the game. You want listings so much better than buyers. It allows you to sell 48 homes in a year without an assistant and by yourself with a pretty nice profit margin. Otherwise, if you had to work 48 buyers, I don't think you'd be able to do it, or you would never be home. You'd be home less than you were in Afghanistan. So my question is, we need to find out exactly like how you're doing this. So can you role play this through with me?
Absolutely. So I just call them up.
You're calling 12 a day, roughly 3 to 12 a day. Call me and I'll be the seller.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, can I speak to Pat, please?
Yep. This is Pat.
Hey, Pat, my name is Josh Gossard. I'm a realtor here in the area. I was reaching out today because I came across the property you recently had for sale. And since I specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time around, I just wanted to reach out, introduce myself, and see what your plans were here moving forward. Do you still have plans on getting your home sold?
Yes, we still want to sell it. We don't know what we're going to do. The other agent had it. She had it 8 months. Towards the end, we didn't get any showings and just, I don't know what the problem is. Everything I read says it's a good market, but we don't know what we're going to do.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any idea what type of time frame you're looking at here?
Here's the thing, Josh. We don't have to sell. I mean, we're 80 years old each. And we wanted to sell because we wanted to finally downsize, but we don't have to sell. If it doesn't sell, I'll rent it.
Okay, gotcha. So your purchase isn't contingent on the sale of your current home?
No, we don't. We haven't purchased anything.
Okay, well, have you seen anything that you've been interested in recently?
Yeah, a lot of stuff we've seen. There's a place that we like, called Woodland Village. It's a 70+ community. And, ideally we'd like to go there.
Wow, that sounds pretty awesome, Pat. I tell you what, I'd love to schedule a time for me to come over, see your house in person, see if I might be able to shed some light on why your house didn't sell, or at least my opinion of that, and also talk to you a little more about what exactly it is you're looking for in your next home. A lot of times I run into sellers just like you who don't necessarily have to sell, but what they always tell me is, if you have a buyer, bring them by. So I know of some properties that could be available but aren't necessarily on the market. I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're interested in to see if one of those might be a fit for you. I have some time available tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock. Would that be good for you?
Now, wait a minute. What do you mean might be a fit for me? Might be a fit for me to buy?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, where are they?
Oh, they're all around town. I have places. I mean, I'd have to go through my list to see exactly where these folks are, but I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're looking for to see if one of these might be a match.
I got you. Well, looking at what you're seeing there, why do you think my house didn't sell? I mean, it seems like most of these agents are all the same. What are you going to do any different?
I hear that a lot from sellers who think we all are the same. Let me ask you this, Pat. Do you go out to eat at all?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite restaurant? Where do you like to go?
Arthur Treach's Fish and Chips.
Okay. There, Arthur's. Is your service exactly the same every time you go in?
No.
Exactly. And that's what you're going to find with agents. Even if it's at the same brokerage, we're all independent contractors. We all work for ourselves. And unfortunately, not one is as good as the other. So what I'd really like to do is just kind of come out, pick your brain, see what you think your last agent was doing, show you what I do, and let you decide if that's different than what you've been having so far.
Oh boy, I guess so. Sure.
Okay, great. So 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Okay, perfect. I'll see you then.
So, let's analyze this a little bit, Josh. So, what were you I guess at the end of the day, your goal is simply to just get the appointment, right?
Yep. I want them to agree to giving me the appointment. And then after that, I start to dig a little deeper and pre-qualify the appointment and figure out, what exactly it is that they owe. If in a situation like this where you could say it's low motivation, I would still say they had high motivation. Most people don't want to carry a mortgage. I'm assuming at 80 plus, they don't want to be landlords either. So I'd probably go and just have that conversation, figure out what they're looking for and really play to that. And that specific appointment, I'd probably talk more about what life is going to be like after they purchase. It would probably be more of a buyer consultation, get them excited about the purchase.
And of course, the potential houses is kind of just a bait and switch. I mean, I'm sure you have lists of expireds that you've called and stacks like that, but really, you're going to get out there and list the house, and you could find them something later after it sells.
Well, yeah, and you are right though. I mean, I do have folks that have homes. I hear that all the time. If you have a buyer, we're not really interested in going to the market right now. If you have a buyer, bring a buy. So I do know of some places in this scenario exactly. I don't have that, but you're right. I mean, I would still use that.
And so you're calling, 3 to 12 a day. Out of that, how many are you getting to let you in their house?
So I'm calling a lot more than that. 3 to 12 is the new ones. I'm calling
3 to 12 popping up new. Oh, okay.
I'll call up to 5 times or so. I'll keep hitting the list until I hit them 5 times or so. After that, I don't spend my time calling those folks.
You mean you'll leave 5 messages?
Right.
Okay, cool.
And then I don't call those as high priority as I would the 1 through 5s or the 0 through 5 contacts that I haven't hit yet.
Okay. And then how, so is the rest of the people you're calling just people you haven't called 5 times yet?
Right. So what I'm finding right now is it's rare that I book the appointment in the initial conversation. Most of these folks don't want to deal with realtors. They've been on the market for a while. It's cold outside, really cold. So they're like, we're going to take a break for a little while, and that's fine. So what I've done is we start putting them in our database, and I put them on a systematic follow-up. I send them a thank you card right away, follow up in a week to make sure they got the thank you card, and then just kind of, check their pulse again, see where they're at, and then just continue to follow up.
Wow. And so, how many do you think you call to get all together in a day, roughly, average?
Dials? Anywhere between 40 to 100 dials or so.
Okay, 40 to 100 dials. Connect with how many?
Anywhere from 5 to 10, 15. If I get 15 on the phone in a day, that's a good day.
And then how many people can you close for a face-to-face?
So my ratio right now is 32 contacts to 1 appointment.
Okay. And then how many of those appointments actually do you list?
About a 70, 80% listing ratio.
So if you get out there, there's a good chance you'll take it.
Well, if you look at recently, it's even better. There's been a few I haven't gotten recently. When I don't get those, it's because I didn't do a good job pre-qualifying, and it's generally I'm not interested anyway when I don't get those. But I'm really good at building rapport. I'm not trying to brag. I'm generally a pretty likable person. I can kind of get along with anybody, find common ground with anybody. And if I get in front of the client, there's a very good possibility I'm getting that business.
What are some ways you find common ground?
Asking questions. I ask a lot of questions.
Like what? Like what?
Wherever the conversation goes, I just ask the question. If we start to go on a bunny trail, bring it back to real estate, how it relates to real estate, just kind of let it go. Of course, where are you going? Why do you want to go there? What's life going to be like when you get there? The typical questions like that. And I just let them talk.
And how do you bring it back? Like if you start going down a bunny trail, you mean like just in BS and just a long conversation, and then you bring it back to, hey, this is how we're going to sell our house.
Yep. I go back to just ask a question to get them back on track.
And then now, how are you convincing all these people? Because a lot of people listening might be like, oh man, I don't want to call expired. They're all overpriced. There's something wrong with them. There's a reason they're expired. How do you overcome houses that show real bad and houses that are drastically overpriced?
I go in there and shoot them straight. I'm very thorough with my market analysis. I'm very, very thorough. I found about within the last year or so, I learned to take pictures of the interior of the homes. So the comparables, I'm taking interior photos of the comparable listings because I want them to see what those look like. It's like, I don't want them to try to assume that, it's theirs as good. So if they try to tell me something crazy that they think their house should sell for more than that one, I need them to explain to me why.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
So you're bringing not just comps, but like massive amounts of photos of each listing that you're using as a comp. And so you could say, look at this, I had a remodeled kitchen. Look at this stainless steel. You don't have that.
Exactly. I went on an appointment yesterday. A lot of my folks don't sign right there on the spot. I take I don't try to be high pressure. If they need to think about it, okay, cool. I'll follow back up. I'm fine with that. A lot of folks, I know a lot of agents say, oh, well, if you don't close right then and there, you're not getting the listing. And that's fine. I found that to be the case sometimes too. But I met with the woman yesterday, went in there, told her she needed to reduce her price by $20,000. And yeah, I just showed her, I'm like, look, I know that you said the last two agents priced you here. You haven't had much traffic. You haven't had much feedback. When I'm looking at the comparables, the other two sold at $245. And if I'm a buyer, can you explain to me why someone would pay $20,000 more for your home? And I have the interior of the photos of the house, and it makes sense. I'm the bearer of bad news, but
what'd she say? Like what? I mean, obviously the first two agents couldn't convince her. I mean, how did you?
It was kind of easy because the first agent had it was all like computer algorithm type stuff. So the range he had was like 225 to 300,000.
Jeez, yeah, I never do that. Who does that?
Never.
Right? I mean, how bad can you? How bad can you be? Right? I mean, are you that bad a realtor that you have to give a $70,000 range?
especially in a 220,000.
Right. Right.
It's not like, it's not like we're dealing with a million.
That.
So I said, so she's like, well, I knew right away my house wasn't worth 300,000. I said, well, the good news is it's not worth 225 either. We can get you more than that. So just go in and have the conversation. And I told her, I said, I'm going to shoot it straight. I know you want to get the home sold, and this is what I think and why. I don't want you to think that I'm just pulling this number out of thin air. This is how I'm reading the market. Right now, my market's selling average in 25 days. And we're right at 98.7% of original list price.
And so, let's role play this. Well, you want to, because this will be helpful. Let's say I'm that person you met yesterday, and I'm giving you a hard time, right? And I said, well, listen, one agent had it at 300, and I dropped it to 275, and a couple of my neighbors have sold all 299.9, 289.9. I don't know. What the problem is, Josh.
Well, Pat, when I'm looking here at the comparables and the ones you're referring to, the one that sold at 289 and the one that sold at 299, and outside of role play, when I'm doing this, I'm sitting beside them. We're looking at the comps together. So we're looking through the pages.
Yep.
I'm like, these folks, they had this updated kitchen with the granite, the stainless, the new flooring. It says here in the listing, they have a brand new roof. They got the nice fenced in or the enclosed porch. How do you think your home compares to that? And in this case, she didn't have any of those things. So it's obvious why they would sell for more. So in another comparable, same deal, finished basement, a little bit more square footage, an extra bedroom. And, we can say, okay, well, if I'm a buyer in the marketplace and if I'm offering money for a product, I'm going to offer more money for a product with more amenities, more value. So it's easy to just have that conversation.
Yeah. All right, and then let's just finalize it then, right? So, I don't know, Josh. I mean, yeah, your comps make sense. I didn't know about the stainless steel in that, but I've had two agents that have basically said, and we had several people look at it a second time, and none of them said that we were overpriced.
Right. So the feedback didn't say they were overpriced?
No, none of the feedback said it was overpriced. Everyone just said showed well.
Very rarely do I get feedback that even says that any comment about price, but I don't really, when we see a common trend with an issue, I use that feedback. I take that feedback into account. But when we're running into a lot of showings, especially multiple folks that come back a second time and we don't get that offer, that's an indication that they saw value over yours in another property. There's a very good chance those folks bought something. Now, there's a reason they bought another property over yours. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I assume that they were real buyers, that yes, they in fact did buy something.
Right. So, I mean, most likely they found more value in another home. Either they got more for the same amount of money, or they bought a home equal to yours for less money. More often than not, that's what we're seeing.
Interesting. And so, and you're just, and this is all you're doing. I mean, the cool part about this is, right, like, your broker, whoever said, Josh, go and do this, and you went and do it, and they're like, holy dirt, I wish all my agents would do that. Like, do you have, is there a lot of other agents in your office or in other offices around you that call expireds?
Well, these people do get called. We have productivity coaching here in our office, and so they're preaching to the newer folks coming in the same thing. And every now and then you got some guys that will come in and they'll make the calls. So I'm not the only person calling these people, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only person calling 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And especially once they go in my database and I send the card, and then I follow up after the card, and then I send the email, and I'm still calling, 3 months later. The more you follow up, the less competition you have there. And go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, when I get in front of these people, it's very conversation based. It's not, I use sales techniques, of course, but it's all around conversation. I'm not here to tell them their house sucks. I'm not here to just, point the finger at them for overpricing their home. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of agents I call quote unquote weaker agents that will just let the clients do whatever they want to do. And they're not really providing the guidance that we should be providing. So I go in and I'm like, look, there's a reason my homes sell so quickly. There's a reason my homes sell for such a high percentage of our original list price. That's because I'm good at interpreting the market and I'm good at negotiating the best deal for my clients. That's that.
So what advice do you have, right, for an agent that, let's say, has been in the business a while, has, a lot of buyer business, and I like to say is addicted to buyer leads that they or someone on their team, is paying for, and they're like, man, this is for the birds. I want to switch over to be like listings like Josh. What advice do you have for them that would be like step 1, step 2, step 3 for them to go from buyer agent to listing agent like yourself?
First of all, I would find someone like me who's doing a lot of listings and figure out what they're doing. If expireds and withdrawns aren't your thing, okay, fine. Find something that is your thing, or learn to make it your thing. That's really what I did. I mean, I wasn't crazy about calling the expired withdrawn listings, but it was easy to get started. Everyone said it would work. They said, if you say this like that, you can expect this to happen. So that's what I did. Script practiced, got on the phone and just grinded it out.
Wow, fascinating. And it works, which is the coolest part. So Josh, I mean, as you know, everybody that comes on the show brings with them a free gift, right, that we share with the Rockstar Nation. What gift did you bring today?
So what I actually brought 2 gifts. What
Awesome.
I brought
Thank you.
was how to leverage our listings for more listings. So you said it earlier, listings are the name of the game. So I was doing all these listings and I'm looking at it. I'm like, where's my spinoff business from the listings that I have? Like, how do I turn this into more business? I hustle and get the listing, go crush the listing appointment. I'm doing open houses. Sometimes I get business off of that. Sometimes I don't. So I'm like, how can I take this listing that I have and turn that into more business? So I just really thought it out about some of the things that I do hit and miss. And I'm like, if I did all these things that I do, all willy nilly and just did them all the time, that would definitely result in more listings. So I brought that, just a marketing plan of how to attack the listing, postcard, door knock, open houses, that kind of stuff, what we do for our listings. And then also we brought our offer cover sheet. It burns me up when I receive an offer as a listing agent from a buyer's agent that is out of order. It's handwritten. I can't make out everything. So what we started to use was this cover sheet where we put that online with our disclosures. The agents, basically give a summary. And then we've also started to use that when we submit offers as well.
Yeah. You could give it to the seller, rather than giving them 35 pages, give them the offer cover sheet,
Right. And it's easier for me. A lot of times
I take a picture of it and text it to them.
Exactly. A lot of times I'll get the offer when I'm on the go at my kids' sporting events or in the car. And it's just easier to look at that cover sheet than it is to dissect the full contract, a 35-page contract.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. We used to always use that. Very good. Well, let's wrap this up with our flagship question. And I kind of know the answer, but I always like to get the answer from agents like yourself. So let's say I were to take you and 9 other agents and put them on an island. Now on this island, there's a lot of commerce. People are running around buying and selling houses. But the thing that's similar with you and the 9 other agents is none of you know anyone, right? But you all have $1,000. You all have a laptop computer and you all have a cell phone. Now of the 10 agents, whoever sells the most houses is going to win a $5 million prize. You have 6 months. How are you going to sell more houses than the other 9 agents and take home $5 million?
I would door knock. If I was limited on funds, I would door knock the expired withdrawn listings. I would start with the newest ones and then go back and just start door knocking them. If they're not there, just leave a little note. Hey, I noticed your house came off the market. I'd love to talk to you about what I do to help my clients sell their home fast for the most money. Give me a call if you're interested. And then I would follow up with those people as well. But if I was limited on funds, I would just door knock those expired listings.
Yeah, I mean it makes it makes a lot of sense, right? And I could tell you're, monomaniacal. You're like you're highly focused on expireds. That's your thing. You're just going to go get it, and you're going to be the best expired person out there, and you're just going to do it. You're going to be a professional.
Yep. And so just a little piece of advice. What I would do also is go back to the people like from the 90 to 180 day time frame too. So if you look three months ago, who came off the market 3 months ago, because now their days on market have reset and they've had a chance to cool off. They don't have to make their bed every day. They may be ready to take another crack at it. A lot of folks, whenever they first expire, withdraw, they're frustrated. They want to relax, undo their belt a little bit and relax. So give them time to cool off, hit them back up after that 90-day mark and after their days on market reset.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Keep till they list or or tell you to stop calling or 5 times.
Another guy that I followed closely, I followed your show quite a bit. Another guy I followed, he has a slogan, buy, die, or file a restraining order. I kind of like that. That's it. You can tell me to F off today, and in 2 months, I'm going to call you and probably do some business with you.
And how do you not let that bother you? Like a lot of people out there listening might be like, oh my God, don't people yell at you, and don't you take it personally?
It's like a muscle. If you, or a callus on your hand, your hands might get sore at first, but the more and more you do it, the more it doesn't bother you anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is, right? And if it's a daily activity, which it is for you, do you do it 7 days a week or 5 days a week or how many?
I wish I could say I was absolutely religious. I try to knock it out 5 days a week at least. But you know how it is. Life.
It just depends, right? But when you first started, I'm sure you were.
Oh, when I first started, I was crushing it, all day, every day.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Damon Paquette, who's an agent who highly recommended Josh for the show. I'm glad he did because, I haven't had somebody on, in the recent time, who's banging away expireds like you are. And it's always good. It's always a great way for people to boost their business if they're in a little bit of a slump, or to start out day one, with listings. I mean, I love people that start out day one with listings. Few and far between, and it's definitely the way to go. And this is an easy way to do it. So I appreciate you coming on, brother. And I'm going to put all of Josh's information on hibandigital.com/Josh Gossard. It's GOSSARD. That's GOSSARD. You can reach out and say hi to him. And I'm going to put his free gifts, both his free gifts there as well. And I will put them on hibandigital.com/toolbox inside the toolbox. And of course, you guys can always text the word toolbox to 444-999. Josh, listen, next time I have some free time in the Maryland area, I'll look you up and we can get together and break some bread.
That'd be great. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Rockstars. Please give us a review wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. We eat feedback for breakfast, and I don't care whether you give me a 1-star review or a 5-star review. I just want the review. I want to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Would love to improve things. Hey, and listen, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get and the more reviews we get, the better guests we'll get for you in the future. Feel free to reach out to me anywhere on social media. Just type in my name. I'm everywhere, and I look forward to meeting you in the digital world. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to Real Estate Rockstars.